Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Remy. So today I'm doing what I read this year and my January TBR. Because I didn't really read a lot this year. I only read 10 books this year. I do plan to read more next year. I just had a lot going on this year, so I didn't read a lot. I didn't really put them in order of when I read them, and to be honest with you, I don't know when I read them. I mean, I guess I could look at my Goodreads, but I just realized that I didn't put one of them on my Goodreads because my Goodreads said I only read 9 books, but I read 10 books. I'm just going to start with all the Colleen Hoover books that I read this year because I think I'm going to change my rating because I watched a Clockwork Readers video of her reading Colleen Hoover's books, and she read these 3 books in that video. And I did only watch the parts of these 3 because I do have another book of Colleen Hoover's that I do want to read this year that was in that video. So the first thing I'm going to say is I feel like when I read Colleen Hoover, my brain checks out. Like anything that makes sense isn't there. Like, because the stuff that Hannah pointed out in her video, I was like, yeah, I do remember that. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't really think about it like that because I feel like when I read her books, my brain shuts off and I just like kind of fly through them because they're very short, fast-paced reads. And I will say the first book that I read this year was November 9th, and I started it at the end of 2021 and I finished it beginning of 2022, and I will say I did not finish all of it. I got bored reading Ben's manuscript because I will say I did not really like this book. I gave it a 3. I think I gave it a 3 or a 3.5 because so many people liked it and I could see the appeal, but like it was very insta-lovey and honestly didn't really like it. I think I would change it to maybe a 2, maybe lower. I really just don't like it and I was so excited for it and I hated it. How they met in the beginning, I was like, this is so weird. They're like, you just met this man and you're inviting him to your apartment. And then I got towards the end where everything started to like wrap up and how you're supposed to make it make sense. And I was like, okay, well, Ben's kind of up, you know? Ben's kind of messed up just a little bit. So, yeah. Nope, I think I'm going to give it a 1.5. Yeah, I need to change it on my Goodreads because no. So the next book I read of Colleen Hoover's was, I believe, Ugly Love, which on my Goodreads I did give this a 5-star. And again, when I said that my brain shuts off during her books, my brain shuts off during her books. Just to let people know that who have not read this yet, this is a stepbrother, stepsister romance. My brain didn't click with that because I feel like she tricks you a little bit because the main characters that we're in present day with is Tate and Miles, but the actual love story is about Rachel and Miles when they were in high school. So how she kind of tricks you and to make you be okay with this romance, at least how it did it for me, was that Rachel and Miles met each other before they found out that they were like going to be step siblings, but they met each other the same day they found out they were going to be step siblings, so it still didn't make sense. And I actually felt for Miles really hard when I read this, and I cried during the really sad scene in this book because I feel like her writing is addicting, and I feel like it gives me this familiar nostalgic feeling. I realized this the other day that it reminds me of reading Wattpad books when I was in high school and when I was in middle school. Like, if you've been reading since like elementary school, I'm sure you found Wattpad in middle school and you've been reading Wattpad all through high school. Her writing reminds me of that, and I think that's why her writing is so addicting and how I like it so much is because it reminds me of Wattpad and it gives me that nostalgia feeling. And everybody knows that Wattpad writing is not good. It's not good. So I think I will change this to a 2, to probably a 2. I would say the premise of the book, well, I don't even know if the premise is really good, because he kind of just uses Tate throughout the whole book. It's a 2. It's changing to a 2, from a 5 to a 2. Next book, Verity. Again, one of the books where she kind of, her writing is addicting, and this book is actually, the premise is actually really good, and Hannah, or A Clockwork Reader, in her video said that this book is kind of a ripoff of Rebecca. I can't remember the author's name. Let me look that up. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I cannot pronounce names. She said that in the video. I was like, okay, I need to read that book instead. The smut in this book, it's cringy, and it made me uncomfortable, and I was trying to read fast through it because I didn't enjoy it. So basically this book is about Lowen and Jeremy. Lowen is a struggling author, and she gets hired to finish a series by the author Verity, because she is immobile and got into a car accident, so she cannot finish the series. So Lowen is there to finish the series for her as like a ghostwriter. So she has to go to her house and go to her office and look through her stuff and find all the notes for the future novels of the series to finish everything. And she ends up getting close with Jeremy, and they end up sleeping together, and everything unravels, and like, is Verity really immobile? Like, and then she finds this manuscript which kind of is like a memoir of Verity, which kind of puts her in like a very negative, kind of evil light. I also gave this book a 5 stars. After watching A Clockwork Reader's video and thinking back on this book was very uncomfortable. Definitely I'm going to read Rebecca, because this is made me uncomfortable. And I think I tried to convince myself that it was supposed to, and the writing was supposed to make you uncomfortable because the manuscript is disturbing and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I don't really support the relationship of Lowen and Jeremy. I'm changing this to a 2. A 1? A 2? I don't know. One of those. Again, I don't remember the order I read these in, but the next one I have on my pile is The Hating Game. I made a whole video about this book and about the movie adaptation. You know how I feel about it. I don't like it. I gave it a 3. Reflecting on it, I probably would give it a 2. 2.5 maybe. But yeah, I didn't really like it. So now for a book that I loved. So The Inheritance Games. Look at these tabs. Focus. Look at those tabs. I don't know if it's focusing, so I'm just gonna... I tabbed so much in this book. There is highlighting, underline, writing. I loved this book, and I devoured this book. I don't know. I don't know what else to say other than I am obsessed with the characters, with the story, with the mystery, with the writing. It is absolutely amazing. I gave this a 5 stars. This is absolutely amazing. My favorite character out of the Hawthorne boys, I think, is Jameson, or maybe Xavier. Is that his name? Nope, Xander is his name. Xander's the funny young child. I do like Grayson, but also he's kind of a dick. So, but like, you know, that's his charm, I guess. But yes, I 100% recommend this book, especially if you're trying to get into reading. This is such a fast-paced read, and it is such a good mystery. I highly recommend it. It is young adult, I believe. This book I read this month, which is Coraline. I made a whole video on that. That's my last video. I gave this book a 5 stars. I love the story. I love the illustration. I love how immersive it is. Highly recommend, especially if you've already watched the movie, read it. Read it, because it's like I said in my other video, it's like reading deleted scenes from the movie, because there's a lot of differences in here. But also, the movie used a lot of the same dialogue, so when you read the dialogue, you can like hear the movie in your head. It's great. So I was going to do a video where I read 5 books I said I would never read, and then I wasn't able to get all the books, but I was able to get some of Emily Henry's books, because I'm really bad at reading, like wanting to read things that are super hyped, because I feel like they never live up to their hype. But People We Meet on Vacation, I loved it. The tension, the characters. Alex is great. Protect him at all costs. He is amazing. I think I gave this a 4, but honestly, 4.5. It's so, like, I don't know, 5? This is so good. It's so good. It's so good. Read it. If you don't read it, I'm gonna give it a 5. I can't, because it's not on my Goodreads. I can't remember what I gave it, but I give it a 5. It's 5. I love this book. I had to listen to the audiobook because I was trying to do it within like a week so I can read all the other books for the video. So I ended up listening to the audiobook at work. And while I was at work, I was just hearing the dialogue, and I was just like, oh my God. So I need to reread it and annotate it, because, oh my God. Next one I read was Beach Read. This book, if I could give it a 6 stars, I would. I love January. I love, what was his name? Augustus? Yeah, I love him. I love January. I love the setting. I love the romance. I love it all. I need to get a new copy of this book, because when I got this copy, where's it at? There's pages falling out of it. Look at this. Look at this. I need to get a different copy, a new copy, and I need to annotate the new copy. And I don't know what I would do with this copy. I would have to figure out what I'm doing with it. Maybe I can take out the pages and like use it in like my reading. I could use it in my reading log book thing. So when I reread it and annotate the new copy, I can use pages from this copy to like put in the little, it would be great. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I read Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. Love this book. This was a 5-star. I think I gave it a 4. Did I give it a 4 or a 5? Hold on, let me look at my Goodreads. Yeah, I gave it a 4. I think it was actually a 4.5. This was a great read. I feel like this is how The Hating Game should have went, because I didn't like The Hating Game. I gave this one a 4.5 because it was really good, but I feel like there was just a little something. It just didn't give me that 5-star feeling, you know what I mean? So it is a 4.5. It is a great book. I love the characters. I love how they meet, and how, like, when they first meet, they're like, yeah, no, I would never date you. Like, it's about 2 talent agents, I think. They're talent agents, and they both work a lot of hours. They are, like, really never at home or anything. So they said they would never date each other because they work in the same field, and they would never, like, it would just never work. And they meet each other at a party in the beginning of the book. Carter and Evie, that's the name. So as soon as they meet at this party, they like immediately hit it off. And since they work the same job, like I said, they just were like, oh, this would never work, blah, blah, blah. But they end up like texting each other. And then their companies, they work for 2 separate companies. But their companies end up merging and downsizing. And they end up being in the same thing and keeping their jobs, whatever. I can't remember. It's basically like The Hating Game, but better. So I highly recommend. So I read Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I am in love with this book, and I cannot wait to continue the series. I gotta remember their names. I'm so bad at names. So this book is about Louise and Reed. Louise and Reed. Louise is on the run from her family because her family are witches, and she ends up there's like a parade for the royal family. So all of the Chashires or whatever are on guard, like making sure no witches are trying to kill the royal family and whatever. And Reed is one of the Chashires, and Louise is dressed up as a man and ends up running into him, and he realizes that she's a woman. She runs away, and then something happens. He catches her stealing, I think, or something, and he's running after her. It's set back in the day where, women are seen as property to men and stuff like that. It's set back in those days where like that man you need to keep your woman in line type of situation. So she ends up, like, I think, acting out, and he ends up like hitting her or something. I can't remember what happens, but something happens, and they end up having to pretend they're married, and then have to actually be married to keep the lie up. And so then they end up having to be like kind of a forced proximity type of thing. She takes this opportunity of them having to be married as protection from her witch family. So she ends up staying in the Chashire's like place and whatever, and they have to like sleep in the same room. It's a good story. I love the characters. I love the plot. I love the ending was so the ending was so good, and I cannot wait to read the second book. I need to go back and annotate this one as well. This year I started annotating, so all of my books, except for the Inheritance Games, has been annotated, and I need to go back and annotate. Okay, so this book is 18 plus. So if there's people in here they're not 18 plus, go away or skip to me going through my TBR, because it's 18 plus, all right? So I read a Jade West book called Sugar Daddies. If you only read books that are smut books, this is a great book. It is a threesome book. If you're not into that, this isn't the book for you. It's about two guys. They are in a relationship. They're both bisexual, and they are looking for a girl. It's Carl and Rick, and the girl's name is Katie. Carl and Rick are looking for a girl. They want a girl in the relationship. They are, obviously, they're polyamorous, and Katie is kind of exploring the idea of it. And so the whole thing is that she has to want both of them, or she can't be in the relationship at all, because normally the girl only likes one guy. But so that's where they struggle to find a girl in the relationship, and so she has to like both of them, or take a hike. Basically, there's also a plot besides the smut. This them falling in love, and also something happening with her family and her farm, because she's from a farm family, and they're both businessmen that live in like a richer area. So it's actually really good. I think I gave it a 4 or 3 or something. I did get bored towards the end and didn't finish the last actually my bookmark's still in here. So ended up not finishing the last chapter, because I got bored towards the end. Because mainly when I started reading this book, I read it for the smut, to be honest with you. The plot is really good, but I got bored and put it down. But it is really good. I highly recommend reading it. I would say the spice level is at a 4 or a 3, between 3 and 4. And the plot, the love story and stuff, I would say is also a 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy this book, so pick it up if you would like. Let's get into what I'm reading in January. So this is my January TBR. It is only 5 books. So I'm going to start the Addicted/Calloway Sister series with Addicted to You. I picked this up today. I'm also going to be reading the Hawthorne Legacy to continue the Inheritance Games series, which I'm very excited to read. And I'm also going to be reading It Ends With Us, just to get this over with and off of my TBR. I'm not expecting much from this book with everything that I've seen recently. This book, I'm excited. It came out this month. It is called A Dash of Salt and Pepper by Kosoko Jackson. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But so it's a rom-com with two chefs, and I love rom-coms. I'm a rom-com bitch, and I'm also love cooking. So this is, it's purple, and my favorite color is purple. This book just already has everything I want. Did not realize it was a gay romance when I bought it, but there's two guys on the front, so I'm assuming it's a gay romance. Which is no problem with that. I'm fine with that. I don't think I've ever read a gay romance before. So I'm excited. And then the last book is the Blood and Honey book to continue the Serpent and Dove series. I'm extremely excited to look at this cover. It is beautiful. But that is all I have for you guys today. If you made it this far, thank you. Like, comment. Oh, my books just fell. Like, comment, and subscribe for more if you love my face, love my videos, or even just like my videos. You don't have to love my face or love my videos. You can just like me. I will be posting another video, I believe on the 31st, of all of the books I received for Christmas, and like kind of this month, because I kind of got early Christmas presents. But again, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. This will be up after Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate. Anyways, okay. See you next time. Bye. Did / Calloway Sister series with Addicted